back to DM-Nastics, the gym for dungeon masters to work out their minds. I'm one of your hosts, DM Celeste, aka Sea Witch.
Yes, and I am one of your hosts, DM Neil, aka Jote Maniac.
Yes, and we are here to do an episode for you today.
Yes, and it is about improvised weapons.
Oh, I'm excited. Another article here. These are always so fun. 10 things that make great improvised weapons in D&D, written by Jacob Bork. I'm already a huge fan based on this artwork, which is a bunch of pirates, clearly pirates, in a awesome tavern brawl, so...
Oh yeah, the initial art is...
Ready.
Oh, it's Pathfinder art, because I can tell based on the fighter in the foreground.
Oh, this is great. This is a great bar brawl.
So I leaned toward this one because I feel like it's something like I always, as a player, want to do.
Yeah.
Like that, if I had leanings, like it's basically just a tavern brawler. Like it's gonna be a dwarf. I'm gonna punch everybody, and like it's like a monk with no order.
Yeah.
It's just a guy just punching other people.
Yeah. I have definitely made my share of grappler characters because I always think that is so fun. The idea that you're just walking around with nothing but your fists, and that is more than enough.
But the way it is set up in the game is not beneficial to that choice.
No, it's not.
All I can think is, as hard as I know I could probably punch someone, given years and years of training towards that goal, it's not going to be 1+ my strength. Like,
No.
Not a chance. Like, that's not how this would work. And I am not walking around with 18 strength by any stretch of my personal imagination.
No.
So it's always baffled me a little bit that the unarmed strikes are so weak at the end of the day. Because I think about watching even Critical Role Season 1, where Grog is God's gift to strength. And like when you would hear the numbers of like doing the like unarmed combat, it just felt so defeating to listen to that. And I've done it with my own players, and I'm just like, but that's gross. Also, the other thing is like, this is also just going to take forever.
Yeah.
So, all right, number 10. So we can get through it. The Tavern Brawler feat.
This is a great feat. And don't bother with all the grappling ones. Just get this one for sure if you do feats in your game. Yeah, so you can grab an improvised weapon because that's exactly how you get around the whole all unarmed strike through just 1+ your strength modifier or whatever. This is by just picking up a chair leg, all of a sudden you can have a D8, a D6, whatever you want. Whatever your DM says is okay. So it's great.
I would have it scale. That's just me because it's permanently 1d4 plus your strength. I would probably find out what breakpoints, or just literally just look at cantrips and have those be your same breakpoints for allowing this feat to give the person a stronger hit die. I would just do that. This is probably the only quick change I would do. And yeah, you pick up anything, you use it as a weapon. Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to have like, okay, cool. I'm going to need you to justify that process to me. One, because I think it's funny to hear that argument. Or two, I just really need you to like wrap my brain around what you think you're doing with that.
Tell me what you're doing with that. What? So you picked up this barrel. Where do we go from here? Right?
Oh, bam. So my favorite thing about this article, and it'll be linked in the show notes. It's from CBR, and like you said, Jacob is the author of this. We went from super reasonable to, wait, what?
Oh, yes. And it's just buck wild. I was scrolling down. There's just all kinds of nonsense.
I'm super excited for this list. Because the next one is Bag of Knives.
And the art, again, it's just some really weird clip art of like a double, triple extended, like Leatherman style knives.
So there was a single point at which the Swiss Army knife took every available tool or knife that they had and made it into a single
No, this is a real thing. So this isn't just like a Photoshop.
Real. That's real. They took everything that they've ever put into a Swiss Army knife at the time and put it into a single.
So they took a clip art of this monstrosity and just put a big old plus sign and a picture of a bag for the bag of beans.
It's a bag of beans.
A bag of beans.
That plus that.
God.
And yeah, you're basically just beating them with this bag full of knives because you raided the goblins, and the only thing that is in quote, all they have are loincloths and daggers, and we know which one you're picking up. I'm like, I'm not picking up either one of them.
I don't want that.
But if my long-term goal was to have a bag of knives that I was hitting someone else with.
It's the goblin's unlucky day. You can start swinging your knife back. This is incredible.
Yes. I am a huge fan of this article.
Oh, God. Next rogue I'm making will absolutely have a bag of knives. Oh, my God.
All right. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Number 8, flaming gauntlets. They're just gloves you set on fire and started grabbing and punching people with. Oh, heck yeah. That's all it is. It's just gloves that you doused in a flammable liquid, set them on fire, and then went to punching and grabbing and punching.
This is exactly when people are like, why do they put rules for oil in D&D? Nobody ever uses it. This is exactly what it's for.
It's literally like just like holding on to them and justifying like a potential 1d8 of fire damage. And it's like, well, ultimately depends on the DM though, as this could potentially hurt you as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're technically lighting yourself on
I
fire.
think this would hurt you. I think for sure. But I think you don't worry about that at the point where you decide this is a good idea. Or you play like a tiefling or a gold dragonborn or whatever, resistant to fire. And then you're like, I don't really care. This is worth it.
Yeah, but you could also have 1 to 2 rounds where it's not hurting you, but if you go past that, it will because
you don't put out your hands. Yeah.
Are you ready for the next image?
Yes.
What do we have?
Sack of whatever. Just a pile of rocks. And again, the clip art pile of rocks plus bag of beans. At least the author admits this is going to be a theme here. Insert blank object into a sack and proceed to beat someone with it. Oh my God.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Bag of holding grapple.
What?
You're basically shoving their head into a bag of holding and holding it there.
Until they die because there's no air in a bag.
Uh-huh.
Whoa! I mean, yeah, that's intense. Oh, whoo. I would worry about my player if they did this. Wow.
Oh, you're shoving them all the way into the bag. I misinterpreted it. Basically, you're just grapple checking them into the bag and
so
then
they
letting them die.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Whoa.
Are you ready for the image on the next one, though?
God.
I mean, okay, first off, let's double back. The whole grapple thing with the bag of holding, like, that's all. I don't know.
That's a lot. That's very
It's a lot. It's a big
I
stretch.
specifically have banned putting living creatures into a bag of holding. I say it just does not work. Like, I know the rules. Technically, you can, but that's just my house rule at a table because otherwise it just becomes a ridiculous.
Yeah, and like my limitation has always been like it's so hard for you to justify it to me, and obviously none of this matters because it's all D&D and fake anyways, but I struggle with medium creatures being able to get in there.
Yeah.
Small and lower maybe, but medium plus, like, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
What does, however, work for me, though, is number 5, because that image is comedic gold. Because number 5 is another creature. And there is a man holding on to the rear legs of a deer with a full arrowed circle around him.
And let's say, this is like a safety style diagram.
Yes.
Like something you might see 2D on like a, how to put on your mask on an airplane. Like,
it looks like an airplane thing, yeah. But he is swinging around a deer and defeating easily 4 other grown men
who are just... But this is a fantastic idea. I feel like we're getting a little bit of this in Baldur's Gate now, where you can pick up creatures to throw at other creatures.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the most effective things to do with high strength. And yeah, this is great, especially because if you're grappling another creature, your speed is 0 and like your hands are full specifically. So, but if your hands are full with that creature, you can still use it as the weapon to attack someone else. And there you go. That's all your problems solved.
Yeah, going all the way back, why would I need to pick up the goblin's knife and loincloth when I can just pick up the whole goblin?
Yeah.
And just beat other goblins with the first one.
I guess the bag of knives is probably for the people who aren't strong enough to pick up a full goblin.
There we go. Yeah.
Or yeah, that's it. This is fantastic.
I'll pick up the knife. I'll give it to the character with less strength, and I will wield the goblin instead.
Incredible.
This one is interesting.
Yes.
I like this one a lot because I would bring it up just to allow it to see what kind of things my players would come up.
Yeah.
Because number 4 is whipping things at other things.
Also, really cool art again of this like totally rad witch hunter with, I think it's one of those like the tentacle whips that they get, some of the weird mind flayer or drow stuff. But very cool art. Yeah, okay, whip may be a weapon itself, but you can use them to grab things. So flasks of chemicals, things that burn, freeze. So basically, you're whipping things at that like will explode or, activate other things.
Yeah, so the idea of like an alchemist fire that you've whipped and then whip that into the person, and in theory, the alchemist fire, what, 1d6? Sure, give or take. So 1d4 plus 1d6 plus whatever your modifier is to whip into them. Or are you whipping past them and yanking something down onto them? Are you whipping past them to hit the other person? Are you using the goblin to hit the other goblin after you whip them? Like, we're just putting it all together. Did you pick up the bag of knives now with your whip and whip that into someone else?
You whip your bag of knives.
Did you whip the bag of holding on top of them and now they're inside of it, slowly suffocating while your alignment changes?
This is wild because whips, as written in 5e, have no way to hold anything. So, but I get it if you want to play like Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
Why not? Incredible. Yeah, I think you'd have to have a DM that let you do this, and you'd have to figure out some mechanics. But if you're willing to go here, I think that would be a lot of fun, obviously. Okay, number 3, a table leg. Classic table leg. Yeah, we just have to put it in here. I don't know why. We could just said chair, too. Or, well, let me make sure. No, okay, chair isn't number 1. But yeah, a humble table leg is generally overlooked as a viable weapon. It sure is.
Might even be you gotta look for fancier furniture. It might even be a +1 table leg.
Ooh, +1. It's a golden table leg.
I feel like this is a classic trope for number 2. The bard's musical instrument. When have we not seen someone just swing a guitar into somebody else?
So this is very funny. The way they phrased it, I think it's telling you, the person who isn't a bard, that it's a good idea to run over and take your bard's instrument and use it as an improvised weapon. It says the bard's musical instrument. So is that what that is implying? Yeah, if you've just had enough of that bard's lack of talent, or you just don't like them that much, grab what they're playing and use it as a... That's so rude!
Some straight bard hate.
Okay, players, don't do this to your other players. This is so mean.
That, and it might inspire the bard to actually use their weapon in combat instead of inspiring their allies with their musical talent.
Oh my god. Okay, author, who hurt you? What bard in your party hurt you? Oh my god. Jacob, be nicer to your bards. They're there to inspire you. They're support characters. Jerk.
Wow. I definitely, in my head, I was the bard swinging my lute.
No, I think that would have been fine. But yeah, no, this was go run and take the bard's instrument. Oh my god.
All right. And number 1, and I'm a huge fan of this, improvised physics.
Yes. You'll push it down.
Any big object that is marginally spherical and slope can do decent force damage when pushed down. Yep.
Oh, the example, the Dwarven warrior in full plate being pushed down a hill in a barrel that will crash into the enemies and get their attack faster. Wow, this whole scenario. Imagine
summoning a decently sized creature above an enemy to drop on them and make an improvised missile. Yeah, that's frowned on, but in 18 seconds, 2 move earth spells and a minor illusion to cover the hole can generate 1d10 falling damage. Dropping a chandelier on someone. Wow. Any of these could work.
Those are 3 cantrips. So just, casting those cantrips.
But the might not be thrilled with it.
Listen, if my players drop a chandelier on someone, I'm stoked. I'm always
If you
stoked.
put a dwarf in a barrel
Yes.
and basically allow your turn to be their movement so that they have a full turn when they're down and have already done damage every 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm such a fan of you if you've done that. I'm not mad at all.
Not at all.
This is wild. And great. Yes, absolutely great. Great ideas.
I'm giving advantage on all attacks post-barrel.
Yeah. You've done it. Inspired forever. Thank you. Good night. Wow, Jacob, you really took us for a ride. There were some twists and turns. I liked it. I liked the journey.
I liked it when as soon as I saw this one in the list, I was like, nope, this is it. We're done. I don't have to look anymore. We have done it.
Incredible.
And we have. So, of course, if you want to leave us a rating and review after whatever that was, also, if you want to email us and tell us about the improvised weapons that have been used at your table, please do. If there's been a dwarf in a barrel,
we need to know.
Please email us at DM-Nastics@gmail.com. And, of course, you can always head over to the social media of choice and type in our names or the name of the podcast, and we should come up. For everything else on the network, blockpartypodcastnetwork.com.
And as always, a huge thank you to the bards over on Bombarded for our intro and outro music. You can find out more about Bombarded at bombardedcast.com.
But rather than let these mental gains go to waste, let's head to our post-workout cooldown and stretch with the light bulb.
Light bulb.
What do we have today
for
this light bulb?
Ooh, we have paper flying dragons. Oh, cool. So these are like little flying paper airplanes, but they're little dragon things that you cut out?
Yeah, so they're I've seen this a lot before. Okay. I will date and age both of us with this question. Do you remember the prefab styrofoam airplanes that you would put together with the little plastic thing on the front? Yes. It's similar to that in the sense that
the little World War II planes that they had.
Yeah, and so everything here is already kind of built to size and scale. Dragon pun. I didn't mean to scale. Haha.
How dare you?
But it's also set up where it's all pre-colored and everything is going to be exactly what it is. You're just kind of piecing it together. It's laid out flat so it fits in a book. You're just piecing them together. But yeah, for $12, you can have a bunch of these paper dragons that you could either just have fun with your kids or use them at the table or
because it looks like they're pretty sizable. So I think these are going to be comparable to gargantuan minis or anything. So it's a really cheap way to get different colored dragons on the board. I also imagine this would be a really fun, puzzle or event style thing with your players. If you're having a competition, or whatever, it's like dragon racing, you can literally throw these and just have a fun activity to do.
Build and fly your favorite dragon with 5 adult dragons, 6 hatchling dragons, 1 robo dragon, and tape.
Whoa! Oh, I like that for a Robo Dragon if you need a really weird model of something, like they're running a construct dragon or cool.
Ice, Patagonian, blue frilled sea dragon, thunder dragon, sun dragon, and steampunk Robo Dragon.
It's nice because they're all the classic colors, so super 1-for-1 on D&D use for sure.
Follow the link in the show notes. You too could be the proud owner of this. And if you also click on this, the company itself does a lot of other paper products.
It's the Klutz company. So the Scholastic store, they do all those cool kid products and activity books and stuff.
Yeah, I'm currently in what are we going to do during spring break next week, and I need to start getting stuff for the summer.
There you go.
Mode. That's where my head's at.
Ready.
There needs to be things to do, or we will all start stabbing each other.
Oh, vacations.
It's the best. All right, but with that, we'll turn out the lights and head out of the gym.
So before we go, I want to implore you, the listener, to join the forums, the Discord, social media, anywhere else you can find us, and take part in these challenges, exercises, and other amazing conversations being had.
And to do that, head over to bit.ly/DMBanter and try some DM-Nastics so your players don't ask, do you even lift?